review Monday Night Raw from last night, and of course, it was their go home show, and pretty much they tried to tell us that there was a little bit of changes and things that you could you could expect, and one of them was the changing of a title in this Raw, and the title change was Drew McIntyre becoming again the WWE World Champion again, so they could set up the match between him and Roman Reigns. Now, my thing is, do they think this is something special? Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre? I don't think it is special. One, yes, because Roman Reigns right now is the hottest heel right now in WWE with the Tribal Chief storyline, whatever. But now you throw in Drew McIntyre. Why? Why? Randy Orton could have faced Roman Reigns, and then they have after that match. And then Roman Reigns continued doing what he's doing in SmackDown, and Drew McIntyre would have regained the belt somewhat in TLC, because that's the way they've been producing these shows the last couple of weeks, where you had the Fiend popping out in certain instances, and sometimes you saw it when he would come on in the middle of the beginning of a Raw event, and you see him laughing or popping out, and they made you believe that there was going to be a TLC match between Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, and Drew McIntyre. But apparently, everything changed within the last couple of weeks, and we saw it when he pretty much they booked the match last night between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. And not only that, because Randy Orton decided to put his hands on Adam Pearce last week and whatnot, and he tried to escape from the match last night, they made it a no disqualification. So then you should have never gave the belt to Randy Orton in Hell in a Cell, because he just became a transitional champion. If you really think about it, he held the belt less than a month. But anyway, the Raw shows again. It's been like this for the last couple of weeks with Drew McIntyre coming out, flapping his gums about how he's thankful for the Thanksgiving and the traditional Survivor Series. Then you got Randy Orton popping out in the screen talking about he's the greatest wrestler of all time, and then you got the two morons, which I call them morons because and then put it this way again. Let's not even make fun of these wrestlers, because this is what WWE and Bruce Pritchard does. They make these wrestlers look foolish. The Miz, first of all, should be nowhere again. Like I said, nowhere near the Money in the Bank. Okay, he comes out with John Morrison, and they talk about that there's going to be a change tonight. Well, the only change that we were going to have was a change of the title match, a change of the title, but Miz was not going to cash in. That's for a fact. First of all, as far as Miz and John Morrison are concerned, they are just comedy acts. The fact that Miz came out to promote his show again and all this nonsense, he just he just there to promote his stuff. He's not gonna win the world title. He's not gonna cash in successfully. Because if they do, then you're going backwards. You're definitely going backwards, because the Miz is not world title contention. I don't care what anybody says. He's not world title contention. So to my knowledge, and to what I've been seeing, he was not supposed to be nowhere here for the title at all. So far, the way I look at it, this Money in the Bank briefcase is worthless now. Now this is the briefcase was, let me put it this way: Money in the Bank has become a synonymous with other promotions, because if you think about it, New Japan Pro Wrestling does the G1 Climax, which it becomes a briefcase, and inside is a certificate. They got that from WWE. We could actually admit that. So is the United States briefcase also that New Japan does, but at least they make it interesting. They defend that briefcase. So far this year, Otis won the briefcase. Miz ends up beating Otis because of Tucker's interfering, and now he's walking around with the briefcase and talking about cashing in. The Miz has lost 3 times in less than a week. He lost twice to Drew McIntyre in a singles match and in a handicap match. And last night, he lost again to Bray Wyatt. And somebody tell me what's wrong with that. If you might as well have had a story where Bray Wyatt said, "Look, put the briefcase on the line. I'll wrestle you," and he becomes the contender for Money in the Bank. But they didn't do that. So they got this loser Miz walking around with the Money in the Bank briefcase and with a title shot on it, and he has lost all this time. So they had just made the Money in the Bank briefcase worthless. Is it because, and this I'm just saying, theoretically speaking, is it the fact that Chris Jericho came out with that concept? So now that Chris Jericho's in AEW, they trying to shit all over this briefcase as of now. They don't care for it. Because the way I'm looking at it is, it's ridiculous. Everybody's going to continue. Nobody's going to respect the Money in the Bank briefcase anymore. Not after this crap has been going on for the last 8-7 months. It's just ridiculous. So another thing that I want to bring up was the situation with the women's match, the women's team. Now, they had a promo in the back where Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler told Lana that, yeah, she's going to team up with them, but she is not to tag herself in the match. And they were going to go after Mandy Rose, Dana Brooks, and Asuka. During the middle of this match, Mandy Rose got hurt and was taken to the back. Dana Brooks looked like she was hurt. She was holding on to her arm, but Dana Brooks can't wrestle for beans. Asuka, a legit champion, but they're making her look weak because you got no one in that division. They could give this woman a run for her money. I think she has beaten Shayna. I'm not sure. Nia Jax, please. But this whole Lana thing, again, Lana lost the match for Baszler and Nia Jax after they told her not to tag in. She ends up tagging in. She ends up losing. You see that it looked like Nia Jax is going to let her slide because she's like, oh, you did your best, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, she pulled her to the table again for the 9th time. The 9th time. How in the world can you put somebody through a table for 2 months in a row and think this is cute? And you talking about, oh, we're trying to get her for sympathy so she could be a babyface. She can't wrestle. She sucks. She can't wrestle for nothing. And you trying to make her babyface? It's ridiculous. And the fact now they took out, and then to top it off, Mia Yim attacks Dana Brooks. Now I'm thinking, okay, so now Mia Yim is going to be part of the team. And then again, I said, but she's part of Retribution. It wouldn't make no sense because Retribution supposedly are trying to take over WWE or whatever they're trying to do. Because right now they're a joke to me. And so I said, so Mia Yim took her out. So now Mandy Rose, Dana Brooks are out. Put in Lacey Evans, and Peyton Royce. What's wrong with that picture? Bunch of losers. So pretty much SmackDown team is going to win. You can see it. And if not, you can see Lana pretty much being the sole survivor. And I heard a podcast that he'll lose his mind if Lana pins Bianca Belair and wins it for Raw. I mean, I won't put it past them. They will do some crap like that because the women's division is garbage right now. It's garbage. I don't care. Besides Shayna Baszler, besides Sasha Banks and Bayley, because Nia Jax, she's a botch. She's a botch artist, and all she does is hurt people. Those are only 3 women right there that are legit wrestlers. And then they're waiting for Charlotte Flair to come back. You're not getting nothing back in return. It's just ridiculous, the way I see it. But I don't know what to say about that. That was just, they put her again through a table for the 9th week in a row. And you want sympathy? You got to be kidding me. So let's talk about this Team AJ Styles, the Raw's team, another disaster. They pretty much had them team up last night. Was Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, And if I believe I'm right, it's shot Braun Strowman. Oh my God, Riddle, because now his name is not Matt Riddle no more. And who the hell is the other thing? Sheamus. It was Sheamus, Braun Strowman. Oh my God, Matt Riddle, and they went against Retribution. And pretty much, Retribution ended up beating um, the Raw team because Mustafa Ali pinned Matt Riddle, all because Sheamus and Braun Strowman can't get along. So pretty much they put it this way: if the Raw team would have beaten Retribution, Retribution is over with. But they ended up winning, beating the team that is supposed to go out there and wrestle, represent Raw. So they lose. So I mean, they put a 50-50 booking. I think what I see it. I mean, I don't understand what are they doing with this team. You know what's funny? What it crossed my mind. WWE didn't do like they did the last 2 years. One year you had the whole SmackDown team go into Raw and beat up everybody in the Raw locker room. And then the following week, on the following Friday or Thursday, whatever it was, then you had the Raw team go into the SmackDown locker room and beat up everybody there, which I felt it was pretty good. It was beautiful. I loved it. And this was like about 2 years ago. They didn't do this. They didn't do none of that for this Survivor Series. So what does it matter if you SmackDown beats Raw or Raw beats SmackDown? Last year you had NXT involved and NXT won most of the matches, and now this, I don't know. I don't know, but this whole thing with the AJ Styles team is just stupidity. Uh, the fact that Sheamus is acting like a rule breaker with this team, but yet he's giving a sword to Drew McIntyre. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. You know, um, it just don't make sense to me at all. It doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know. So that don't make no sense to me. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that. Um, the Hurt Business pretty much came to wrestle. This one's one match. This match was pretty good. There's a little botches here and there, especially Cedric Alexander, who went did what I call the I said the Hurricane, not the Tupe Suicidas. He did that. Jay Lethal does very well. He's the master of that. I think Seth Rollins used to do. These Tupe Suicidas were horrendous. He nearly killed himself about 2 or 3 times when he went did it 3 times in a row. So basically, this was a good match. Um, I think if I'm correct, Mr. Shelton Benjamin messed up on the mic, and this is why he don't grab a mic. Um, also, um, I knew they were not going to win the titles, and I'm gonna tell you why. And I put this on Twitter last night. The reason that first of all Cedric Alexander got pinned, he got pinned, and they didn't win the title was because Cedric Alexander's wife, Big Swole, took a picture of Cedric Alexander in the backstage area on AEW Full Gear. And then she posted it on Instagram. You think WWE did not see that? It's like it's stupidity. Like, why are you taking pictures of your husband hanging out with the competition, with wrestlers from the competition? I understand some of these wrestlers know each other and they go to each other, but not on AEW. And that's why he didn't get the title. First of all, he didn't get the title because of that. Second, those two-pay suicides he did were horrible, very horrible. So I don't know what they're planning to do as far as that. What they're going to do with the Hurt Business now, debating that Benjamin and Cedric Alexander may not get another title shot. Yeah, now you got New Day. They will go and wrestle Street Profits for the tag team. I guess for stock tag team domination, I guess. But two clownish teams are going to face each other on Sunday. Um, Let me see what else we got. Again, the Retribution. Like I said, Retribution won that match. So pretty much they defeated the Team Raw. So again, at least they got still some legitimacy on that. The Miz versus Bray Wyatt. I'm surprised that Bray Wyatt came out as his regular stuff. Again, I mentioned earlier, Miz lost this match. Why they didn't put the briefcase on the line, gave it to Bray Wyatt. and made it more interesting. No, they're still having this damn briefcase on the Miz, and John Morrison being a clown, which this guy should be in a better position than what he is right now. It looks like Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are going to be feuding after Nikki Cross confronted Alexa Bliss in the stage area when she came out with Bray Wyatt. So it looked like these two are going to go at it. So pretty much it's not much to say. I mean, the Drew McIntyre match was 30 something minutes. It's, before that, like I said, uh, Sheamus gave uh, Drew McIntyre a sword and some outfit and chest. It was like a chest that they opened and they had a Scottish gear in there. He looked like a Roddy Piper on steroids with a little quilt he came out with. But where is this going between not Bray Wyatt, I'm sorry, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus? Is Sheamus going to turn on him after the Survivor Series? Because right now it looks like WWE has no idea what they're doing. Listen, the fact that Bruce Pritchard is I think they're just doing storyline as they come. They don't, like I said, they don't care about the fans. And let me tell you something. With this whole thing with Selena Vega right now, WWE just opened a can of worms because, like I said on my audio podcast this past Sunday, when I said about some Selena Vega stuff, Andrew Yang, a former presidential candidate who may be in Joe Biden's cabinet, is thinking about making sure that Congress call Vince McMahon and his shady business. Because the fact that you have wrestlers and you say you have them on the independent contractors when they're not independent contractors, when you are pretty much taking over everything they do, that's not independent contracting. I mean, Selena Vega put something as far as a tweet about she's into unionizing. That's not a good idea for anybody because that means that a lot of wrestlers will be out of business, will not be able to wrestle anyone else because like companies like Ring of Honor, Impact won't be able to pay their wrestlers health care, none of that stuff because they are a small company. They don't have that much money, especially Impact. You know, Sinclair is not going to pay health coverage for no wrestler. Let me put it that way. Impact, Anthem, I don't see that happening. So, but the fact that the WWE opened a can of worms and now the lens is focused on them, the magnifying glass is on them right now. And the way I see it, it's going to be a lot of problems for WWE next year. Yeah, they might be making money now. They're not thinking about going. I hear they're not going to go do live shows anymore. Um, you're in trouble. They are in trouble because right now, if you thinking right now that you keep doing this and keep the morale in the backstage from everybody is horrible, what makes you think there's these wrestlers now after what Selena Vega did? She did not want to give up her Twitch. She did not want to give up her OnlyFans. And she was making more money with her social media channel than she was doing by her own contract. Goes to show you that some of these wrestlers and WWE may do the same thing. And WWE is going to be in trouble because if these wrestlers go to Congress against WWE, they're going to spill the beans. And McMahon think he's God. And he's going to find out real quick that he's not. But if Congress calls him in sometime next year to talk about this shady business, WWE is in trouble. It's bad enough they're like $38 a share right now. Their stocks is horrible right now compared to this time last year. This time last year they were almost $100. You know, so everything's not looking great for them. You know, so we'll see what happens. You know, again, we'll see what happens in Survivor Series. Like I said last week, this is where the storylines were confusing. They continue to be confusing. Nothing, let me put it this way, nothing got settled when it comes to the Raw's team at all. The Raw Survivor team, they still have problems. And they got a badass team. But is this a trick for them to trick SmackDown's team that they're having problems, or is just a trick for them to just get together on the night of the event and just squash SmackDown. Yeah, the women's division, the women's Raw team, Lazy Evans, Peyton Royce, Lana. You gotta be kidding! You might as well just put Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax to wrestle by themselves, like somebody said before, because these other women are gonna get eliminated. I don't know about Lacey Evans, but if Lana wins the whole thing, you know WWE is trying to push Lana down our throats like they've been doing with Roman Reigns instead of letting it happen naturally. They don't let nothing happen naturally. They just want to shove things down your throat. Here, eat this. So we'll see. I mean, in due time, we will see what happens. So, guys, once again, this is a live stream from Twitch and YouTube. So you guys can find me there on YouTube, the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. So you guys can check it out. You on Twitch, you find me at DA One Ultimate, and you'll see the One Ultimate on Twitch and YouTube. Again, the Chokeslam Wrestling Report channel. You can find me there. You'll find me also on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast, the Chokeslam Wrestling Report audio podcast. I do them twice a month. I mean, twice a week. I'm sorry, twice a month. What's wrong with me? Twice a week. Um, Sundays and Thursdays. On Sunday, I talk about the wrestling news and rumors. And on Thursday, I do the AEW review plus wrestling news and rumors. So you can check that out. If you guys like, you can also check me out on www.unhingedsn.com. Find me there. You can click on my Chokeslam Wrestling Report logo, and you find all my archives on my audio side on my podcast on YouTube. You can subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for any new uploads and also live streams. You check that out. I mean, we live, so if I messed up, I messed up, and if I'm drinking my coffee, I'm drinking my coffee because I like my Starbucks. I'm not Starbucks. I'm Starbucks. Dunkin' Donuts. I can't drink Starbucks. So just being myself, and so you guys, you could check it out if you like. Let me know what you think of this uh, video. What do you think about what happened last night? Again, WWE every week I got to talk something negative about them because they pretty much they just went into Survivor Series, a Raw edition, going in more confusing than ever. The changes, the Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, we've seen that match before, and it's just a matter of now they both champions. Nothing crazy there. Nothing, oh my God, I can't wait to see it. No. I'm going to watch it, one, because I want to see Undertaker, see if the Fiend attacks him. I'm thinking probably the Fiend probably going to attack him, or Lars Sullivan, one of those guys might attack him and you know, make a statement. But we don't know. Anything can happen. So, but I'm really looking forward to that. So, this is my Monday night review. I think they need to. Raw has to do better than this. This cannot continue. This is like if you go to bed exhausted because you figure like things are wrong as far as the storyline. Bruce Pritchard don't care. Mix McMahon don't care. And like I say on my audio podcast, this man doesn't care about the fan. He doesn't care about his superstars. All he cares about making money, and he's not pretty much he's making me look right because that's what he does. He doesn't care about anything else but money, and that's what he's all about. So again, guys, if you want to check out more information about me, you can find me on Twitch. Again, the One Ultimate. You can find me also again on YouTube channel, the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. You can check up on top the on the YouTube channel. You can check the links, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Find me there, and you can find all the information there. Till then, guys, I will be seeing you next Monday for the Monday night review. And hope that you like this. Again, leave me your feedback, leave me your message, whatever you want to do, through Twitch, through YouTube, whatever. I will appreciate it. And have a good day.